Hey guys, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. This is episode number 335. And in a minute, we're going to bring Brandon Wu on the phone. You guys may remember him from the 2019 U.S. Open. He plays an amateur then. He's since moved over to the professional ranks. He's played a couple of events on the PGA Tour. I think he's got an outstanding career ahead of him. So we're going to talk to him about some of his goals. We're going to talk to him about some of his favorite golf moments. And he played at Stanford, so he's crossed paths with Tiger a few times. That's right. So interesting stories, and I can't wait to get him on the phone and talk to him. We're also going to do our Twitter tap-in a second here. First, we want to thank this week's sponsor, Titleist. Guys, everyone, you want a faster golf ball. We hear it all the time. And performance into and around the greens also makes a big difference in that score that you write down on your scorecard. Well, speed meets performance with a new Titleist Tour Speed. Titleist did extensive testing with amateur golfers in developing the Tour Speed's three-piece thermoplastic urethane construction that gives you a soft feel, exceptional distance in the long game, along with that precise short game scoring control. It really does set itself apart from the competition. And speaking of the competition, if you're currently playing a ball like the Callaway Chrome Soft, the Bridgestone Tour BRX, the TaylorMade Tour Response, you really need to give the Titleist Tour Speed a look. It's in the same price range and it outperforms all of those balls. You can find out all the information on the performance of the ball at Titleist.com. You and I got a chance to check it out a little bit. It is a great ball, especially for that price range. I seriously encourage you guys, pick up a sleeve, give it a look. You will enjoy this ball. The new Tour Speed, get new Tour Speed or get left behind. Mike, so this is a Twitter tap in this week that, potentially could get you in a little trouble.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And the second part of this one is certainly polarizing. Right. So, but we had fun with this and we got some good responses, and you and I each kind of have our own take on this as well. But first, if you're not already following us on Twitter, make sure you follow us at Golficity so you can get involved in the Twitter tap-in segment each week. So for this week's Twitter tap-in, we asked, does your significant other play golf? And if so, is it a blessing or a curse? Okay.
All right, here we go.
So we had a couple of different ones. Right off the bat, Luca says, nope, and it's a blessing. So,
yeah, that's great.
So again, you see what I'm saying?
Nope.
Yeah, you get a little bit of both. But Sean Connigan says, just getting her into it. We played her first round yesterday, and she enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So there's two sides of this coin. There's the, this is my nightmare from what was that movie where they went out and played golf with the girls? It was it's Best Man or some Paul Rudd was in it, whatever it was. It's yes. That somebody will drop in the comment. No, somebody will drop in the comments and remind me what it was. But there's that side of the coin where some people and look, I'm not going to judge on either side of the fence, because there are some people in a relationship where it's great, you do a lot of things together and you just need to have a few of your own separate things that are just yours and it's your space and your time. So some people are like, look, golf is my thing. I don't get my significant other involved in it.
Right.
The other side of that coin, and that's something that I'm personally a fan of. My wife does not play at all. However, it's funny, just this week she asked me to start teaching her some things, because she says if I could move the ball around, I think I'd enjoy it. She's just saying I don't enjoy it because I can't swing, But the other side of that is when you do have a significant other who plays and enjoys the game, things like vacations and travel become better. Yes. Because you say, hey, let's structure some of our vacations around where we can play golf.
Let's go to Kiowa.
Exactly.
Okay.
and similarly too, I feel like it's when your significant other understands the game, it's a little bit less of that explaining of how long is it you're going to be out there, how long is it going to take, whatever type of thing. Yeah. So I personally, although my significant other does not play, my wife does not play at all, I think it would be cool if she did. But it's also one of those things I would never force her into it.
For sure.
No one's going to enjoy something that they're forced into. I believe that with golf with kids as well.
Right.
You kind of have to just let there be interest. And if there is interest, jump in there with the support. What do you think?
Well, it's funny you bring this one up, because we're actually going to try to play golf this weekend with my 7-year-old. And Harry, he messaged, my wife does not, but my 6-year-old daughter is falling in love with the game, so I have a new golfing buddy and couldn't be happier. So Harry, I agree with you. The point is to take my daughter out this weekend, but I said, hey, let's take mom out too. She wants to try it. So she's going to try it. I know she's not going to fall in love with it, but I'm like you with the worlds collide. It's like Costanza. If relationship George comes walking through this door, he's going to kill golf George. So that's I like to keep them apart, but for the travel and for stuff like that, I'd love for her to come out and take a couple swings on like 2 or 3 holes, maybe go back in the cart and chill for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what she would do. But
as long as they're out there enjoying it. I mean, I think that's a delicate dance too, because I was just speaking to someone the other day, this one woman, and she was telling me that her husband is very into the game. And I think it was her sister or something like that wanted to get out there and play. But she actually felt discouraged because when she went out there with her in-laws and her husband, they were just constantly trying to teach her, and she was just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. That's a hard part too. And I think part of that is us as golfers. We're trying so much to teach, and we're a little bit sometimes over ambitious because we want so badly for you to play well and enjoy it so that, you know, you 100%. Can be out. But similar story here. Ryan Donovan says, my wife has played a couple of times, which was a lot of fun, but she sees how much I enjoy the game and now teaching my daughter. So I see it as a family blessing. Similar thing with the kids getting involved.
Right.
And
a lot of people actually, Manny, I love the fact that my wife plays. We play Twilight at my home course and always enjoy ourselves. And then Hunter says right before that, I'm currently teaching my wife the game and I love it. It has helped remind me of the basics and their importance, which is pretty interesting.
So true.
So and by teaching, it brings you back. Right?
I thought the same thing. When my wife asked me, I said, well, what way can I kind of start with this? Because there's a big difference between playing and teaching. And I've always said this. I have so much respect for people who can teach. It's a totally different skill set. I found a little bit for myself during quarantine trying to teach my young daughter who's in kindergarten and some of the math and things like that. I'm like, yeah, I could do this, but how do I tell it in a way that you'll understand it? Similar type of thing with golf, and just trying to break it down mentally to what its most simple parts are so that you can teach it really kind of helps you because it makes you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just started working with her on just kind of like half swings, just parallel to parallel, and just collecting the ball. But yeah,
that's interesting. And on the other side of that, Justin writes, she can, but doesn't. I'd probably play more if she'd go. So here we say a lot, oh, I wish I had the time to play more golf. I just don't. I can't fit it in. I can't practice.
Yeah.
But if you got something you guys are doing together, then maybe you'll get out there and do it. So
well, that's just it. Because sometimes too, you know, you have the same thing. 2 young kids. Sometimes it's hard to find that quality time to be with your significant other.
100%.
You know, we try to like get a babysitter and do a date night every once in a while. But if you also add into the mix of the schedule, us trying to play golf, and then that's another thing we're doing apart, it's hard to find those things you can do together. So if you can find that game together,
that's it.
You know, Manny79 says, I love the fact that my wife plays. We play Twilight at my home course and always enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
So how cool is that? I mean, it's kind of like
it's cool.
You're getting that time for the relationship, but also time for the game.
Right. And now my wife is very big into tennis. She takes lessons now. She plays once a week. So she's got 2 rackets, and she goes, why don't one quote unquote date night, instead of going out to eat and spending money, let's just go play Twilight tennis. We'll get a babysitter and we'll play for like an hour.
Yeah.
I said, perfect, let's do it.
There you go.
You know, so again,
no divots in tennis.
You can't take divots. And I'm nervous I'm going to blow my knee out, so I'm going to be careful.
Oh yeah, take it easy out there. We don't have insurance on you.
Nope.
Let's see. Ray Gorman says, this is an interesting one here, Mike. He says, absolutely not, regarding his wife. He said, she was raised in Ireland and forced to play the local pitch and putt, developed a hatred for the game. Joined me once to drive the cart while visiting Myrtle Beach with my parents. She brought a book to read.
That's great.
Hey, at least she found a way to enjoy herself. But I
busy.
think that is case in point, like I said earlier. You got to let people kind of discover the game on their own. Even with my young daughters, we are fortunate enough to have a lot of resources with Golficity.
Yep.
Access to some golf courses, access to clubs, things like that. We could really throw that at our kids, but we don't. You know, it's my approach. I know you're similar. I've just been kind of showing them how I enjoy it. I'll go outside, and while they're playing, I'll work on my swing and whatever it may be. And the interest, I allow it to just naturally be there. They'll come over and be like, what are you doing?
Right.
And then like, oh, can I play too?
100%.
It is a different thing for them than you going and saying, hey, do this.
Right.
Do this.
It's so funny you say that because, yes, they see you enjoying it. They want to do it. Last weekend, I brought my girls here.
Yeah.
Because I said, I go, hey, Daddy wants to go to the office and take a couple swings. I want to try to work on something. Oh, can we come? And they were excited for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? Turns out I didn't even bring my clubs. It was then all became about them. I brought their clubs only and just had them hit in here. So, it is cool. It is cool to get them involved.
It really is. And another common theme that I keep seeing is for the people who are out there playing and teaching and bringing their significant other into the game, their own golf game is also benefiting, not even just from the enjoyment level, but here, Matt Hiller says, yes, she just started playing this year. It's been good because we have driving range dates. Another thing that's awesome, which helps me practice more than normal, and teaching in the fundamentals reinforces.
When you got those dates locked up, you can get both in once. Brilliant.
But he's right. Teaching her the fundamentals reinforces them to me.
It's great. And then I'll wrap it up here with Mattson Sound.
I was going to say the same.
No, period. Thank goodness.
Hey, we said there's two sides to this, man. There's two sides. But like I said, I'm not going to judge one way or another. I personally like the idea of if it works, bring them out there. But on the same token, much respect for everyone. Everyone's got to have that thing in their life that's just their thing.
Yeah.
And if it's just yours and it's your time to just kind of, be by yourself and do your own thing, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you got a core group of buddies that you play with and whatever it may be. I think either way, it's an interesting, it's polarizing, but it's interesting conversation on both sides.
100%, man. Absolutely. I mean, these are always great, these Twitter tap-ins. So thanks. Keep those coming, guys. I want to get Brandon on the show. I know he's in Portland. He's got a Korn Ferry tour this week. Event. So I want to bring him on, but I want to pay some bills first if you're cool with that.
Go for it.
So let's do it, guys. This episode is brought to you by ShotScope. The ShotScope V3 is a stat tracking laser-like GPS watch. It tells you everything you want to know about your golf game. You can improve by using it, but it's just going to help you enjoy the game better. I mean, after all, that's what it's all about. Frank, there was a recent firmware update on the ShotScope.
Yes, guys, you have to update your firmware. This is a terrific update, and another reason why I love tech products. You buy it once and it just seems to keep getting better. So the ShotScope team, as we've talked about before, you've heard them on the show here before, excellent golfers, really care about the game. They are always working on making that shot tagging and tracking even more accurate. And there's a new firmware update. If you've got the V3, it's free. Just update your firmware and you're going to have visual feedback. I actually did a little video about it for the Facebook group so everyone could kind of see how it works. But as you glance down at the watch, you will see the tag on the watch. So if you've got a 7-iron in your hand, it's going to say it on your watch. And right there, you've got the confidence knowing that the correct club is being tagged for that shot. I love it.
It's awesome. So guys, check it out. Visit shotscope.com/Golficity. Get yourself in the game with the new V3 watch or the G3 if you just want the GPS only. That's shotscope.com/Golficity. And lastly, want to thank FootJoy. At FootJoy, they know a little something about the ground and its fickle nature. I mean, that's why FootJoy offers more styles for more players than any other brand. I mean, you could take away on every step, every condition, every lie with complete confidence. Whether it's the max performance of the all-new Tour X or the all-around comfort and versatility of the Flex XP, the timeless styling of the dry joys. And
how about the Coastal?
I'm taking them off. You got yours on too.
We're both wearing them.
All right, here we go. I took mine off. So here you go. Check it out. These are really sweet.
I love some of the off course stuff like the Coastal. You can wear any of the Flex on the course. Yep. But I wear them off the course all the time.
I had a backyard barbecue where they was turning heads last week. They were like, "What are those?"
They were looking at the burgers, Mike.
They were looking at the burgers.
Move on.
Thanks, Frank.
No, I was kidding.
So the all new FootJoy lineup in 2020 with the Pro SLs as well. They offer more stability, more traction, more comfort, more choice, including those new Pro SL black carbons. Those are pretty sweet, guys. Check out footjoy.com to find the right shoe for your golf game.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and bring Brandon on the show now. Let's talk to him a little bit about his PGA Tour career and where he's headed in the future. Like I said, bright future for this guy. All right, guys, on the line, we've got 2017 Porter Cup winner, current PGA Tour and Korn Ferry Tour member, Brandon Wu. Brandon, great to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, guys. I love being here.
For sure. And it's great to have what I would consider another local guy. You grew up right in Scarsdale, right?
Yeah, not too far. I spent most of my life in Scarsdale. I've since moved to Dallas back in February, but my parents still are in Scarsdale, so I still consider Scarsdale home.
There you go. So much great golf over here, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. Endless.
It's right. And so what was it like, growing up on the East Coast and then you went out to Stanford to play golf? I would imagine fairly big change, moving coast to coast, and then you get out there, the state-of-the-art facility that Stanford has. I mean, there's a lot of perks and great stuff that comes with that. But what was that change like for you as a golfer?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is definitely the weather. Back when I was in high school and middle school, I was only playing golf maybe in the spring and then in the summer. Doing maybe a couple other sports in the fall and winter. I'd played football a few years in high school, and I did swimming every winter. So it was definitely cool to be able to play golf year round. I remember getting recruited to Stanford, and I was just thinking to myself, like, it would be cool to see, like, hopefully I can start to improve quite a bit, spending more time at it. So that was super fun. And then, the facilities at Stanford are second to none for sure. Just and having our own golf course right on campus was also very sweet.
Yeah, it's a terrific setup. But was that kind of always where you had your eye on going with Stanford? Was that one of your first choices?
I'd always wanted to go to Stanford, I guess. And this was probably, when I was younger, when I didn't really know how, their golf program or their academics or whatever. But I guess as I grew a little bit older, it made a lot of sense just because I thought you could kind of get the best of both worlds, a world-class golf team, but also a high-level academics as well. So, that was kind of what I was looking for is, you didn't have to sacrifice one or the other. And that was definitely the best destination for both.
Brandon, I got to ask, because I know our listeners are wondering this. Over the term out there at Stanford, did you get any Tiger interaction? Does he make himself accessible to the team? Does he come offer some wisdom?
So I've met Tiger twice. The first time was at Stanford. He was getting ready to come back. This was a few years ago. He's planning to play the Safeway Open. That would have been his first start back from injury.
Yep.
So he was in the area. He was practicing with us for a few days before he went up to Napa. So he and our coach Conrad Ray were teammates back in the day at Stanford. So they kind of have a connection there. And I feel like when Tiger is in the area playing golf or whatnot, he'll come by our practice facility and hit some balls.
Yeah, that's cool. And speaking of tour, I want to throw this out there because our listeners might not know this about you. I mean, there aren't too many college seniors who get to spend their graduation day at the U.S. Open playing alongside DJ in a final round. I mean, come on, what was that like?
I mean, that was so special. I mean, that's cool because it's a memory I can have for the rest of my life. But yeah, I mean, it was all a blur because every year Stanford graduation happens to fall on U.S. Open Sunday. And I think in recent memory, there's been a couple guys as seniors to qualify for the U.S. Open, but none of them have actually made the cut. So, they can fly back Friday night to make their graduation. So I always knew that going in. But then, Friday night I'd actually made the cut and it became a reality. And that was pretty special. And props to the USGA for pulling off a mock graduation ceremony for me.
That's awesome.
that is quite cool. Now, and speaking of which, you unlike some of the other guys, Hovland and some of the other guys in the field, you kind of decided to delay going pro. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision and what went into that?
Yeah, so I think a big component of that was trying to play the Walker Cup at the end of the summer. That was something, I was first introduced to when we had a practice session the year before. It was super fun getting to hang out with a bunch of those guys and play at a high level. But kind of had my sights set on that. And for me, there was just no rush in turning pro as well. It felt like, why not have another year, another summer as an amateur? Just because, I got to play in a couple, a competitive schedule. I was already into the USAM, was going to play the Western Am. It just didn't feel rushed for me. And then the summer, I felt like went about as well as I could have because I got to play in the U.S. Open, got to play in the Open Championship, played down in Peru in the Pan American Games, which is another really cool experience before also playing in the Walker Cup.
Yeah, so it sounds like no regrets on that decision for sure. And then I would say that now, once you do turn that corner and turning pro, how much would you say has changed for you as a golfer now that you're, pro, focusing full time on golf? I mean, I'm sure you have been for years, but how has your routine changed? How has your schedule and your life changed?
I think, I guess some parts have not really changed. Cause I think actually some people have this fallacy, once they turn pro, it's completely different. The game's different, everything's different. And although there's some truth to that, I think you had, a good deal of success doing what you were doing and keeping the same routines. I don't think you should change that just because you're now a professional golfer instead of an amateur golfer. So I've kept mostly the golf stuff very similar. I'd say I almost feel less busy because, there's no school to worry about, which is kind of a good thing. But then on top of that, in college, you take for granted your coach does your hotels and your flights and all that good stuff. So now you got something else to worry about. Now you your finances and all that stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you wouldn't think about all those extra things that come with it for sure. And how about for your professional career going forward? Are there some goals and some things like that you've set for yourself? Some things, obviously, you had a really well thought out plan for your amateur career, like we just talked about, and then getting to achieve a number of amazing goals. So is it similar for your professional career? Do you have some things outlined that you'd like to accomplish?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think although this year's kind of been janky just because of all that's gone on, but that was totally okay because I was gonna just take everything in stride. It's been tough for everyone, but yeah, I guess trying to finish in the top 25 on the Korn Ferry Tour regular season. I think that's the best way for me moving forward to get onto the PGA Tour. I just think it's almost beneficial that there's a longer schedule and a bigger sample size because I think that rewards better players. So hopefully I can just play well over like a longer stretch and then start to build up points towards the end of next year and secure that top 25.
Hey, Brandon, since you've been on the tour for a bit, you played in a few events. Is there any particular player out there that has helped you kind of transition?
I guess there are a few different ones. I would say Charlie Hoffman I've gotten to know a little bit just because his caddy Andy Barnes caddied for me at the U.S. Open. So that was super cool to have him like a kind of a veteran presence in my first like professional start more or less. And, on such a big stage, like there's a lot going on during the U.S. Open. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But so yeah, got to play a few practice rounds with Charlie in my PGA starts. And then I'd actually say I've gotten to know Justin Rose a little bit over the years as well. And, he's been super nice to me. He'll say hi and just kind of, play a few holes with him every now and then. And, it's good to see him his whole story is really cool from how he began and how he struggled initially. But obviously he's one of the best players in the world now. So, getting to hang out with him is pretty cool too.
No doubt, a great guy whose brain to pick every once in a while. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brandon, quickly take us through the bag. What's your equipment? What are you playing?
So I play all Titleist.
Great.
I think everything's pretty standard. I have the TS3 driver, the TS2 3-wood. My irons are the T100s, which I like just because I used to use the CBs, and I kind of went between the AP2s and the CBs, but I went with the T100s this year just because they look really good, but there's a little bit of extra forgiveness as well. And as the Titleist guys say, it's like, why not have forgiveness if you're not really sacrificing anything else?
Right. For sure.
So yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
And then I use 4 wedges. So I go 46, 51, 56, 60. And then I have a 009 putter.
That's awesome. Frank and I have been fortunate to have Aaron Dill make us a bunch of wedges over the years.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anybody better out there.
Exactly.
Than Aaron.
And what ball are you gaming?
I use the Pro V1, just the regular one.
He's a Pro V1 guy. Love it.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
love that one.
Gotcha. And Brandon, so going back to kind of that goals thing, you're still so young. There's so much ahead of you. 22 years old. You feel like you kind of like accomplished everything as a kid growing up, but do you have a favorite golf memory so far? I know we said we're looking forward, but if we look back for a moment, is there something so far that really stands out for you?
I'd probably say the national championship last year. I think that was such a unique experience because, there's not that much team golf in our sport, which is, I think it's too bad because it's really fun and it's such a cool way to do it. But I think it wasn't just that week experience at the national championship. It was kind of my whole senior season because I think we finished the fall ranked maybe outside the top 40. Our coach Conrad was like, "This is the worst fall I've ever had as a coach." And this was my senior season. Like I really wanted to play well. We had a really good team, albeit a couple younger guys on the team, but the way we were able to turn around and then win our last 5, including the national championship, was just so cool. And to do it as a team as well.
For sure. And, even on this side of the fence as fans, I think we'd love to see more team golf too. It's exciting. We think about like the big events, the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, but I'm on board with you. I think we need to see some more of it. For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. So you're a Westchester guy. You grew up in Scarsdale, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, Frank and I, we're over the bridge a lot. We played, I think we were at Pound Ridge the other day. We're at Sleepy Hollow a lot. What were some of your favorite courses around the area?
I've gotten to play played Winged Foot a couple times. I mean, it's hard to beat Winged Foot. That place is just so cool. When you show up there, the clubhouse is massive, and it's just such a sweet property. But I've played Westchester a few times too. I like Westchester a lot. And then my home club is Scarsdale Golf Club. So I spend a lot of time there.
Got it. Excellent.
Gotcha. And then speaking kind of aside from golf, and as you said before, like the win-win of Stanford is that you get such a quality education. I believe your degree was in product design, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you, I guess, and also for some of the other golfers who are listening who do kind of that dual thing, what are kind of some of your goals with that from that education standpoint? Are there things that you want to use with that degree, or what would be your kind of, obviously I know a primary focus right now, as you said before, was finishing high on the Korn Ferry and moving on to the PGA Tour, but do you have other aspirations to use that education as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I guess this type of like quarantine has actually been good in that sense because, there was no golf going on. But I remember early, maybe back in March or April, one of my classmates approached me with kind of like a design opportunity. He was looking just for some help on a couple projects he was working. So we've been actually working on a project designing like clear masks for people to use that are reusable. So yeah, we were experimenting with different materials, different styles. But yeah, this was kind of just a cool project that we got to work on. I got to kind of stay in touch with, classmates, meet a few new people as well through this. But yeah, so we just started, I guess we're selling them now, but it's kind of like a nonprofit. We just wanted to try and help out.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we just began that. So it's been cool working through this whole process.
That is cool. And it's cool to be able to use it in a real world application like that. Plus it's also giving back and doing a little something for, just kind of just said nonprofit. Really cool stuff. All right. And Mike, did you have anything else before we let Brandon go?
Just to confirm, you will not be in the field at Winged Foot, correct? Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I still have a chance to qualify. So there's so the regular season on the Korn Ferry Tour is finishing up this week, and there will be 5 spots handed out after this week. But then becomes the playoff series, which is kind of a new clean slate. It's 3 events, and they'll pick 5 people from that 3 event stretch as well. So hopefully you can play well the next few weeks and secure a spot back in Winged Foot.
Good little hometown game for you. That'd be
sure.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll be pulling for you. You played lights out at the Open at Pebble. I was just rewatching some of the highlights last night, just preparing for our chat today. And man, I wish you the best. What were you, speaking of which, during that quarantine, did you use much of that time to work on your game, or was there a specific? Did you change your routine at all? I know some guys even took a little bit of a break from the game to rest up, but what was your philosophy?
Yeah, I actually was one of those guys that took a break. I didn't play golf for maybe 5-6 weeks, just because I guess a couple of reasons. I was pretty used to taking time off, and I kind of really value that time off. Just kind of growing up on the East Coast, it's like you have
winters,
to take time off
it,
yeah. So you definitely cherish that time, and then I was also kind of preparing for. I knew there'd kind of be a sprint to play a bunch of golf right when things got back to tournaments again. So I just didn't want to, I guess, be burned out or too tired when that started. So yeah, I just kind of was taking some time off, got to hang out with some friends, just chill out in Dallas. So that was a good time. That
is cool. It's rare, especially, where you're at right now. It's going to be, I'm sure, rare that you're going to get those moments. So I guess we gotta take it where we can get it. That's for sure. But great stuff. Like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. And I know you got another tournament kicking off tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So it's we're playing up at Pumpkin Ridge in Oregon, which is a pretty sweet track, some good history, especially for Stanford alums like Tiger.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful area to play golf up there. That's for sure. Yeah. So all right, so we wish you the best in the tournament. Hopefully, we'll like I said, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, make it out to Winged Foot. But either way, I'm sure you've got quite a career ahead of you, and we're looking forward to hearing your name a whole lot more on the PGA Tour. That's for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for chatting with us. All right, guys. So again, great to get one big thing that we always try to do with the podcast is get many perspectives. Like I said, there's so many different avenues and personalities and people in this game. And now having getting a chance to speak with someone so young, 22 years old, already accomplished so much in his amateur career, moving on now, working his way through the Korn Ferry and playing some PGA Tour events, so much ahead of him, and then on the other side of the coin, we've gotten to talk to some guys who are on the Champions Tour, and them, not only that, their career isn't over, they're still doing amazing things, but also looking back and the progress and things like that. It's just such, the game of golf just has such a long lifespan, and I always find it fun to talk to people at different points in that journey.
100%. And I'm going to lay this down now because he did mention it after we hung up with him, that Brandon, when you do come back for the fall to New York, we want a little challenge.
Yes.
So we're thinking of a two-man best ball between Frank and I versus you at Scarsdale. Bring it. I don't think we stand a chance, honestly.
No,
I think
even
we lose
in
by
a
3 to 5
scramble.
strokes. I know, even in a scramble.
Yeah.
But
like I said, I was watching last night some of the replays from Pebble Beach, and unbelievable.
No, he's a damn good player.
Yeah. He's good. And like I said, I think there are going to be a lot of great things ahead for him. And I think he's a smart guy. For somebody as young as Brandon is, to have such a great head on his shoulders, and he's mature, he's composed, even as you saw, like using how he uses his degree, and he's designing some of the face masks and things like that. A smart guy, like I said, I think he'll go a long way.
Big time.
For sure. All right, guys, that's everything we have for you this week. You can get to the show notes by going to golficity.com/episode 335. Or as always, in the Golficity app. Guys, if you haven't downloaded the Golficity app yet, make sure you do it. Go to golficity.com/app. You'll find the links to download it for free on either iOS or Android, and all of the podcasts are there, all of the videos are there, and tons of great instruction as well. Some really fun stuff. And if you're into betting or picks, we've got some great writers now. I know Riley's doing some great work for that. We've got Patrick and the Pin High boys are doing some excellent previews each week. So a lot of great action on there as well. So there's pretty much something for every golfer to enjoy. Make sure you download the Golficity app, and we'll see everybody again next week.